There are many things that I've done that have impacted my weight loss negatively, but there is one particular mistake that I have made that has made my weight loss journey take longer, and it's thrown me off track more often. And so today I'm going to share with you exactly what that biggest mistake is. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Susanne, and I am on a 40-pound weight loss journey. I have lost almost 15 pounds to date since December. I have a video that I did where I show you how I lost the first 10 pounds in a month. I'll put that at the end of the video for you if you're interested in that. But I also want to share with you all of the mistakes I've made along the way, why it's taken me so long from January to now it is June to lose 5 pounds instead of maybe I could have lost more if I hadn't been making this mistake. So I'm going to tell you what that mistake was. I'm going to tell you why I was making that mistake, how I knew that mistake was making me either gain weight or plateau for days on end, and what I finally needed to change in order to overcome that plateau and weight gain. So I've been on a ketogenic / low carb diet. I do alternate between the two somewhat, meaning keto is technically 20 grams to 50 grams of carbs or less per day, whereas low carb is higher than that, but it's not nearly as many grams of carbohydrates as people eat on a standard American diet. So while I've been following the keto plan, the thing that I have been doing that's really been taking me off track is that I'm flipping back and forth between being on a very strict keto diet and going off the plan. Maybe I have a cheat day with my family. We go out to eat once a week where we get to eat at a restaurant that we like. And so on that day, what I might have done is incorporated more carbohydrates into that meal, throwing me off the keto track. Now, another reason I might flip back and forth off the keto plan is if I'm feeling a little tired. So one of the things that I've noticed on keto is that after a couple of days of being in ketosis, I definitely feel more tired. I feel it in my workouts. I feel it when I go for walks with my daughter. My legs feel very heavy and I feel tired. And there have been occasions where maybe I just got tired of that and I wanted to incorporate back in some carbohydrates, and that did actually make me feel a lot better. I did feel energy instantly. All of a sudden my workouts were more productive and I just felt better overall. A third reason that I would go back to carbohydrates is because I might start craving them. For instance, I might get around some desserts and then start thinking that I want to have a dessert. I'm off track, I eat the dessert, and the next thing I know, I'm either plateauing, not losing any more weight, or I am even maybe gaining a pound or two. And the last reason why I have flipped back and forth is general mindset issues. I grew up in the generation where everything was low fat and high carbohydrate. It didn't matter how much you ate in carbohydrates. It didn't matter what type of carbohydrates you ate. As long as you were eating low fat, it was thought during that time that you would stay at your healthy weight, you would have good blood markers, you would just be healthier overall. And to be honest, up until I was 45, that actually worked for me. But I noticed at 45, that didn't work for me anymore. So I've had to work through and journal my mindset issues, any issues I've had with being on the ketogenic diet, and really thinking about, is the ketogenic diet less healthy? Actually, no. When I look at the difference in what I eat now versus what I used to eat, which was a lot of sugar, a lot of treats, and now I'm eating more vegetables, more natural foods like cheese and nuts, it's not really logical that the ketogenic diet is worse. So how did I know that this particular mistake was the culprit of me either plateauing or gaining? One of the things that I've been doing is journaling what I'm eating during the day. And at one point I started using the Carb Manager app where I actually tracked all the food that I was eating all day and it would track my macros for me. And as I was keeping track, I realized that I would be losing weight pretty steadily until I'd have a cheat meal. And when I'd have a cheat meal, my weight would not go down anymore And I would typically plateau for about 2 to 3 days if I got back on track with my keto diet right after I had that high carb meal. Now, one of the things that I noticed was there was a marked difference between when I would just simply plateau and be at the same weight for 2 to 3 days and when I would actually gain weight. And an example of that was about 2 weeks ago. I was really doing great. I was losing weight. I was down to my all-time low that I had seen in 5 years. And we wanted to celebrate Father's Day. So we went and I had a patty melt, which had a lot of bread in it. And then later in the week, we went out to eat again, and I had another high carbohydrate day. And then for a third time that week, we went to Chick-fil-A, and I had a Chick-fil-A sandwich and some French fries. And I could tell 3 days of high carb eating in 1 week is what it took for me to actually start to gain weight. So if I have one cheat day where I have a high carbohydrate day, I will plateau for about 2 to 3 days if I get right back on track the next day with the keto diet. But if I have 2 or 3 cheat days where I have a high carbohydrate day, I was literally off track for over a week and I was starting to gain weight as well. Now, luckily, I got right back on track after I ate that last cheat meal. And after about a week, I was able to start losing weight again. But it's very frustrating when you're working that hard to see that scale go up and then you have to try to bring it back down again. So I have learned that one cheat day max is all I get while I'm trying to lose weight. Now, how much weight was I able to lose on the ketogenic diet? Within a 7-day period, I tracked it and I was able to lose 2.5 pounds when I stayed firmly on the keto plan, no cheat days whatsoever. So the keto is definitely working for me. My body is very sensitive to high carbohydrate days. So I just know that for now, while I'm trying to lose weight, I really have to stay as strictly to that keto diet as possible. So the way that I make sure that I do that, like I said, is I started using the Carb Manager app. In that app, I can track exactly what I eat, and I'm able to type in what food I ate, and most of the foods are already in their system, and it comes up with how many carbs it has, how much fat it has, how much protein it has, and it does all of the math for you to tell you exactly if you're on track or not. The second thing I did was I wanted to make sure that I was in ketosis. So I bought some keto strips, which are test strips that are not for blood, it's for urine. And I used those to see whether or not I was hitting ketosis, and I was. Now, one of the things that they say is the keto strips are not as effective over time and that the blood test is actually the most accurate. Personally, I'm not going to go that far to take blood from myself to test it. I'm just going to continue to use the keto strips off and on just to make sure that I'm in keto. And honestly, after using them for a couple of days and seeing how I feel when those strips are showing that I'm in ketosis, I can tell now when I am in ketosis just by the way that I feel and by seeing what I'm actually eating throughout the day. It takes me about 2 days or 48 hours from the time I eat a carbohydrate and then go on a keto plan. It takes 2 days for me to start showing that I am in ketosis. They say it can take up to 3 days. For me, consistently, it has taken 2 days. And again, if you want to see that video I did on how I lost 10 pounds on keto within a month, I'm going to put that video right up here so you can go ahead right now and go watch it.